Yep, let's make some pasta. So I've just started making my own pasta, so I know that there's a lot of room for improvement, so let's just take this as an introduction into pasta making, and we can only improve from here on, okay? So the first thing you will need is some semolina flour and some water. Semolina flour is this very coarse and yellow type of flour, and it's essential for this recipe. I use 200 grams of semolina flour and 100 milliliters of water. So the ratio is 2 to 1, but I always end up having to add some more water to it, so maybe use 150 mils instead of 100. For the sauce you will need a small chopped onion, some garlic, some chili peppers, and some rosemary. And for the chili peppers I like using these pickled ones. Although my sauce ended up being a bit too spicy, so maybe take it down a notch if you don't enjoy spicy food. 1 chili pepper should be enough. For the spices, we're gonna need some smoked paprika, some cayenne pepper, some rosemary, some basil, some ground pepper, and some salt. Yeah, that's right, this time I remember adding the salt. And then we will also need some tomato paste. I went again for the one with the basil. We will need some capers. You can also use olives, but just add something very acidic. It will complement the dish. And some tinned skinned tomatoes. So if you feel like you're missing some veggies or some sort of protein source, just go ahead and add in capsicum or zucchini, or maybe red lentils for protein, or even chickpeas. In my case, I was feeling a little bit fancier, so I went ahead and bought some mock meat. This is quite expensive. Each of these cost €3. And health-wise, I don't know, like this one is mainly made out of saturated fats. It's got 29 grams of protein though, like that's impressive. And this one, I love this brand, I've had this before. It comes with 4 sausages, but even this, like more than half of all the fats in here are saturated, and with 13 grams of protein, it's not that, but it's not that impressive either. So, for the pasta dough, I do not film the cooking process at my own place because I don't have the space nor the privacy. So I always go to a friend's house and record it at their place. Sadly, I deleted the footage of me making the pasta and the pasta dough, and I realized I had to re-record it early in the morning before I left for work. So I had to record it on this tiny table that's very shaky. So what ended up happening was that I could not knead the dough as thoroughly as I would have liked to, so the dough ends up being a bit sticky. I just didn't have the time to knead it for 10 minutes, which is what you should do. And also I couldn't like apply a lot of pressure, right? Because as you can see, this table is on wheels. Nonetheless, you can either do it as I did and just make a well out of it and make sure your walls are high enough, and also that you add the water little by little, not the way I did it here. But you could just as well use a bowl. It would be way easier. I just couldn't set up a bowl underneath the camera in my own apartment. And then, well, just go ahead and knead it. And if you notice that your dough is too dry, just add some more water, which is what I ended up doing here. And yeah, knead it for 10 minutes until you are happy with it. When you're done, just wrap it into some clingy wrap. I use my own beeswax wrap. After 15 minutes, take your dough and please put some semolina flour on your working surface, and then cut away a small portion of the dough and start rolling it into a snake. I mean, I am having some issues here because first of all I didn't put flour on my working surface, and secondly because the dough just isn't good enough and I just couldn't really roll it because the whole table was moving. But on a regular table this would work out perfectly. When you're happy with the size of your sausage or snake or whatever you want to call this form, just cut away some similar sized squares and we're gonna make scavatelli. And for that you just take one of the squares, put your thumb on it and roll it away from you. And then you do that again and again and again and till you're done. This is how much pasta 200 grams of semolina flour yields, which is kind of 2 portions. And now for the saucy part. This process only takes 10 minutes, so let's get started. You put your skillet on the stove, wait till it's hot, add some olive oil. When the olive oil is hot, you add some rosemary. I like crumpling it with my hands because it's dry, but you can obviously chop it with a knife if you don't want to seem like a barbarian. Then you just add the garlic and the chilies and the onions and make sure everything is well combined and that there aren't any big chunks of onion left. And then leave it on medium-high heat till they are glazed. Once your onions are glazed, just add the tinned tomatoes and rinse the tin with a bit of water and add the water to your pan as well. Here you see me struggling to cut the tomatoes with, I want to call it a spatula. And yeah, I don't know, maybe you can cut them beforehand, but the spatula also works just fine. Stir everything in, make sure everything is well combined and leave it on the stove for a couple of minutes. Then add the tomato paste, stir it, make sure everything is well combined and incorporated. Then add spices, do the same thing again. And always go and taste your sauce, make sure everything is well tasty. And in my case I decided to add some more rosemary. Again, stir everything, wait a couple of minutes and then add your capers. At this point, if you're happy with it, just go ahead and add the mock meat. I want to say I did not like this one. Yeah, I would not buy it again. I will not recommend it for this recipe. It just didn't complement the sauce that well, and the taste and consistency was very overbearing. Whereas this other one, the Schinkenwurst, I really liked and I think it complements the dish perfectly. So maybe the sausage, the first one, I would like in another context, but honestly I don't want to pay €3 for just 2 sausages and then don't really like it, so I don't think I will buy it again. Well, now you have the sauce, now we make the pasta. The pasta to make is really easy, yeah? It's pasta. You take a pot, put water in it, put it on your stove, bring it to a boil, it boils, you add the salt, it boils, you add the pasta. Finito. You do not put the pasta into the cold water and then bring it to a boil. If you do this, what's wrong with you? Don't understand. It's not good pasta making. It's not good for the pasta, okay? We don't do that here. And then for the cooking time, since it's soft pasta, it will take like 5 or 7 minutes, maybe less. I just take them out and taste them or cut them with a knife and see if they're done or not. And I don't see a problem with my approach. Also, since it's soft, it's not gonna be al dente. It cannot be al dente if it's soft pasta. Makes sense, right? Okay. And okay, now you have the sauce, you have the pasta. Now we serve it. And I like topping it off with some nutritional yeast and oh my god. Yeah, this is my pasta dish. And I feel like it looks very delicious. And I know that it tastes delicious, so yeah. Thanks for watching. And let me know if you try it out. I mean, I know only a couple of people watch these videos, but it always makes me so happy if somebody texts me that they actually tried my recipe. So yeah, thanks for that, and I'll see you the next time, whenever that might be.